Hello everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. So today we have a big update and there's a lot to get to in this video, like an overwhelming amount of things to get to. So I'm trying to process in my head how I want to go about this because Trisha has done a lot and I also have some things I want to say to Trisha myself as well. But to kind of give you an overview, on Trisha's new podcast, which is called Just Trish, she has done episode 2, which is called Reacting to Colleen Ballinger's shocking Vanity Fair article. And I just finished watching the entire thing, and I've went back to when the part of it is that she talks about Colleen and they talk about me. And I kind of want to give an overview of what happens first of all. So, first of all, there were people commenting on like her live chat, and they were saying like, well, Trisha, like, you know that Adam makes videos on you, like, what's your opinion of that? And she was, like, responding. I think I took a screenshot of it or something like that. Let me show you. So people were like, Trisha, are you aware that Adam, you know, makes all these videos on you? And this was her response to this person. She goes, wait, hold on. Can you even read that? You can't even read it. She goes, so irrelevant. And in the chat, she wrote this. She said, I'm very sorry for everything you went through, and I'm sorry for not saying anything sooner. I've never seen something like this with any creator, and I am still in shock by it. So she said this in the chat. And so we're going to get to it, but I'm also issuing Trisha an apology today. And I've also reached out to Trisha privately as well. And I want to read out what I said, and I want to talk about it. But there's behind-the-scenes things that have happened with me and Trisha today. And then this is, like, the public thing, right? So we're going to get to all that, right? So Trisha says that when she posted the video about Colleen, basically saying that, you know, remember Colleen reached out to her and said that these boys, as in me and Johnny, are lying about me sending your nudes, you know, all these different things, like... She was saying to Trisha that we were lying, all these different things. So Trisha then made a video after, you know, the screenshots were posted online with proof. And Trisha says in this that Colleen ended up reaching out to Trisha on that day or the day after and confirmed that she did send Trisha's nudes and that she is a coward for not admitting it, which has opened this up, by the way, to a whole nother level. I really can very limit, I don't even know the word. I'm very limited in what I can say about this. But all I'm going to say is that there is now a text message from Colleen Ballinger admitting that she was sending Trisha Paytas's nudes to her fans. Trisha has told us that on text, Colleen has apologized and admitted that it happened. Now, my response to that is, Andrew Brettler, has your client, Colleen Ballinger, informed you that she has just admitted to a crime? Like, one of the biggest things of this entire thing? Andrew Brettler, has your client told you that? Because Trisha Paytas has now just went on the record saying that after Trisha made the video on Colleen, Colleen said, yes, it did happen. Yes, I'm sorry. And yes, I was a coward for lying to you. So we're going to get to that. And then there's a part in this that I want to stop and talk about what has happened with me and Trisha behind the scenes. But let's get into it.
Giving them your cookies.
Oh.
Sounds dirty.
Maybe
giving them your
controversial, but I'm giving my cookies away all
Me
the
too.
time. Yeah.
Except all cookies.
Okay. The big story of the past week that you were kind of involved in a little bit. So
I hate when I'm involved in anything. Please don't
You're
involve me.
hardly involved. Maybe like 5%
okay.
involved. Yeah. Did you see the whole Vanity Fair article drama with Adam McIntyre?
Okay, so like obviously it's like it's so much. I didn't see it. No, I didn't.
Okay.
I saw people talking about it. I saw like titles. I didn't like.
Yeah.
The whole thing is like super triggering from the beginning. Like there's just so much that I like didn't say, haven't say. Like you know, it's just a lot.
I figured it would be kind of complicated. You'd have complicated feelings about it. I looked at the article and I honestly, because everyone was making such a big deal about it, that I was like, how crazy could it be?
Yeah.
And I'm someone with like a journalism background. Like I went to school for like work in it. and I was pretty gagged at the article because it was so focused on avoiding blame and stuff, and it was so
True.
focused on making Adam like the scapegoat for all the recent like Colleen drama, and that's what I was like mostly interested in. Like I was mostly interested in why, like how this article came to be and why it was so extreme in pointing all the blame on Adam, who was only like a fraction of everything that happened.
A very fraction, I feel. Yeah.
Because there's so many people who have shared like their stories and experiences, and it was weird. The article kind of overlooked it. So I was like, putting my experience out there, I was like, okay, obviously it was some kind of favor, like in journalism, especially entertainment.
No, this is interesting to hear as well, because remember whenever this was dropping and I was telling you that like the group chat that I'm in with, you know, journalist friends I've met over the years, right? They were all saying how this comes across as like a either a favor piece or a paid for piece. Now, maybe it is none of those things. You know what I mean? Maybe it is none of those things, and maybe this was that Andrew Quintana was just a huge Colleen Ballinger fan and was going to write an article defending her to get close to her. Or it was a tip-off piece that was paid for. We have no idea what it is, but with how inaccurate it is and how it paints me, it can kind of lead you to think that there was a lot of manipulation went into it. And hearing a journalist, I mean, I've also, you know, heard my friends who are journalists say this, so it's not really surprising to me. But again, like me, I'm not showing you the text from my friends, but you can hear this together with me. Isn't it interesting to hear like other journalists' opinions on this and be like, yeah, this was incredibly unethical, and this is really, really, really hinting at the fact that this was a planned piece.
Like you do favors for celebrity like teams.
Oh,
and stuff.
that does happen.
Yeah, like there's
if
PR.
you know them.
Yeah, like you can do stuff as like a favor article, like write up something small about a celebrity's like little event or something,
right?
Or cover something good that they did, as like a relationship kind of thing, because it's all about relationships,
right?
But it's very interesting to me that they covered the Colleen drama, and not only did they cover it and like be very much like on her side and minimize everything else, but then they also the article.
I think that's a good point. Not only did the article minimize what she did, like we can stop there, you know what I mean? Like we don't even have to focus on the fact that this article was a hit piece against me. We can just stop there. Not only did this article in Vanity Fair minimize all of the actions, we can stop there. Like that within itself is such a crazy thing. But then we go on and it's also like a hit piece on me, but like even just at that, it's incredibly unethical.
Also, like came after like Rolling Stone and Huffington Post, like almost like making fun of their exposés that they did.
Okay, so what's the title of this article first? Like, what's the title? Do you know?
It was like everything you need to know about the Miranda Sings drama or something like that. Let me pull up the exact title though.
Okay. Interesting choice of words to call it.
How the Miranda Sings Colleen Ballinger scandal went off the rails. Everything you need to know about the drama tearing YouTube apart.
And again, I've said this so many times, but I think to put this as the drama that's tearing YouTube apart is so ironic, because I think that this is one of the times that Trisha's face says it all. I think this is one of the times that we've seen most of YouTube come together to be like, oh, I have an opinion on this. I have an opinion on this. I have an opinion on this. It's not tearing YouTube together. It's like, who said it? It was like, was it Ethan? He was like, it's not tearing YouTube apart. It's tearing her career apart. Was that Ethan said that?
Which was very, yeah.
Calling it drama, saying tearing YouTube apart. I don't think we're torn apart on this.
That's pretty much what everyone has said. Yeah, it hasn't really torn YouTube apart. And like I said, the article seems very like PR. It's very odd.
They name Adam by name.
The only person they name besides Colleen, the whole thing is Adam.
By his name.
By his Adam McIntyre. They specifically
full name.
They call
full
him,
name.
A whistleblower. Who frequently posted new videos and racking up hundreds of thousands of views commenting on the Colleen drama.
Oh my god.
And then meanwhile, Ballinger continued to work on her own YouTube channel that was wholesome lifestyle about her kid.
Nah! This part is one of the things that bothers me most about it. While McIntyre was the whistleblower, frequently commenting on Ballinger's every move, Ballinger was being a little wholesome little mommy. Like, ooh!
So that paragraph alone kind of juxtaposes the two sides, right?
Okay, like the reason I don't like talk about this as much or even like read into it is like this topic is super triggering, and it's not like because I knew Colleen personally. Like, it has nothing to do. It's like it's like something I like don't talk about a lot, but I've like dealt with this myself. Like I've been fans of people when I was like younger and underage. And I'm talking personally for me, fans of people where I really do feel that I was like manipulated. I feel like it changed my perspective. And again, just talking solely based on me, like I've had pornographic images shown to me, and this is something completely different, but just shown to me when I was like younger. And I really think it like set off this like discourse in life that was like really like traumatic for me. But aside from that, like it was a power dynamic, whatever. And I'm not saying this with Colleen and Adam because the reason I don't like look into it much is like it's very triggering. But like hearing that, this is so hard to talk about, like the whistleblower thing, calling someone that is a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Because no matter how you look at the situation, like Adam was a minor. Adam was a fan of somebody and he was made to feel some type of way. You know what I mean? He feels like he was like manipulated. He came out with the story. And it's like to diminish it, I guess, like I said, and just call him like a whistleblower to make it seem like it's for attention or something is like really ick on Vanity Fair's part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. Like, that's why I was, because the drama aside, like, it's, the whole article to me was like super, it was very interesting and just very odd. Because legally, there's also, I mean, I have studied a little bit of, I'm not a lawyer, I've studied a little bit of journalism law, but the author like never reached out for a comment from Adam, especially Adam.
Which tell me that you have to do that, by the way. If you are in a big publication, this is something I have learned within the last week, let me tell you that. If you're in a big publication and you're making statements against someone or for someone, even if it's positive or negative, even if the claims are like this or the claims are like this, you need to ask them for a comment and you need to allow them a chance to respond. And if you do not do that, it's unethical reporting, which can then be looked into legally because it's bias reporting on a big platform. And then it's whoever falls liable, whether it's Vanity Fair or the journalist or the editors. I've learned a lot within the last week.
Because he mentioned Adam by name, but not anyone else involved either.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't that like journalism 101 is to like get a side?
To at least make an attempt. You know, like you don't have to get it per se, but you usually have to at least make the attempt.
When I've talked about people, they're like, we're going to reach out to them for comment, you know, because you have to get... Oh, that's crazy.
So it's very, very odd.
I need to say one more disclaimer real quick before we move forward. It's like, I do have to say a disclaimer. It's like a lot of people are like, okay, you didn't say anything until I involved you. And it's like, you know, for a minute I wasn't looking at anything. And then also me and Adam, like, you know, he always says like Trisha had me blocked and stuff like that. And it's like, I blocked him for something completely unrelated. It had nothing to do with this. Like something unrelated, you know, he had replied to Pop Crave and say it's like the spawn of Satan about like my unborn, when anyone else I was pregnant or something. So like that is why I blocked him. And
okay, let's talk about this. So Trisha says that I was saying online that Trisha didn't get involved in this until it affected her. And that was something that I genuinely believed, right? And she says that the reason she blocked me online was because I called her baby a spawn of Satan. Now, here's the thing. So I ended up emailing Trisha. So the time frame of that, should I just read out my email first or should I explain it? Because I'll explain it first. So I ended up apologizing to Trisha for how this came across, and I genuinely mean it. But what happened was when the time that Queen Elizabeth died, and by the way, as an Irish person, I despise Queen Elizabeth and I despise the monarchy. I wish nothing more for the fall of the monarchy. I wish nothing more than for that never to exist and to not exist. And just as general opinion, but as an Irish person, there is so much history, specifically with Queen Elizabeth, that I detest that woman. Detest that woman. Queen Elizabeth, whenever she died, I was happy. Okay? Whenever I think I found out when I was recording a YouTube video, and I was like, okay, moving on. Queen Elizabeth holds no value to me, and her dying meant nothing to me. I do not care about the monarchy, nor do I care about Queen Elizabeth. And as an Irish person, that is a very, especially living in Derry, that is a very, very, very valid opinion to have. And you could ask most Irish people, specifically people from Northern Ireland, where I'm from, and they will have the opinion of fuck Queen Elizabeth and fuck the monarchy. So when Queen Elizabeth, the like time frame of whenever it was first announced that she was hospitalized to whenever she died, I mean, Irish Twitter was just absolutely, yeah, like free Ireland. Sorry, I don't want to get besides the point here. I want to get to my point. So that entire week on, especially Irish Twitter, which I was engaging in, was clowning on the monarchy and clowning on Queen Elizabeth. And that is something that I don't take back. I do not take back clowning on Queen Elizabeth or the monarchy, because the monarchy shouldn't exist, and fuck Queen Elizabeth, and also fuck Prince Charles and Camilla as well. Anyway, so during that time frame was whenever the memes online started happening of Trisha Paytas is about to give birth and Queen Elizabeth is about to die. Trisha Paytas is going to give birth to Queen Elizabeth. Okay? So those memes started going so viral on social media. Do we remember? We remember. So when the Queen Elizabeth memes started happening, initially Trisha was like, I don't understand them, I don't find them funny. Then Trisha started also engaging in them. Trisha started posting Queen Elizabeth memes. And I kept making jokes about Queen Elizabeth on social media, and Popcrave did a tweet and were like, they had just tweeted that Queen Elizabeth was like about to die or something like that, right? And then they tweeted, Trisha Paytas is about to give birth. So I responded to the Popcrave tweet about Trisha about to give birth, and I went, oh my God, little baby Satan is incoming. And then my tweet after it was in reference to Queen Elizabeth. So my tweet was about Queen Elizabeth the same way everyone else was making jokes about Queen Elizabeth coming back from the dead. So my tweet was not about Malibu Barbie. And by the way, it only took looking at my social media platform to understand that. And I'm not saying this against Trisha because she ended up blocking me, but I'm saying my audience didn't have an issue with this because they understood that it was never me coming for Malibu Barbie. I understand where Trisha's coming from. It was about Queen Elizabeth. And if you looked at my timeline, my entire thing was about Queen Elizabeth rising from the dead. So then when Trisha starts getting involved in the Queen Elizabeth memes, I then tweeted under a news publication that was like, Trisha Paytas is expecting her baby. Right after tweeting that Queen Elizabeth is about to die, I said, oh my God, baby Satan is incoming, about Queen Elizabeth. And I would call Queen Elizabeth Satan anyway. However, I shouldn't have tweeted it under the Malibu Barbie tweet. Even though my intention was never about Malibu Barbie, it literally, the connotation was the joke that even Trisha was doing on social media about Queen Elizabeth, you know, being reincarnated. And I was like, oh my God, we do not need another one. It was never about Malibu Barbie. And I've said that on social media before. on social media before. However, Trisha had me blocked that time, so she wouldn't have seen it. I shouldn't have tweeted it under the Malibu Barbie tweet, even though the intention was about Queen Elizabeth, because that was what was going on. And in terms of me being like a Queen Elizabeth reincarnation would literally be Satan, it shouldn't have been under a Malibu Barbie tweet, because out of context, it literally looked like I was saying, like, Trisha Paytas's like newborn will be Satan. You know what I mean? And if you're not looking at my tweets, you will not know that I was also responding to the news article before it that said Queen Elizabeth was about to die. It was never about Malibu Barbie. It was never about, it was never an attack on Trisha or her baby. It was a joke that fell flat to do with Queen Elizabeth, who I despise. It was a misunderstanding. However, it was my fault that it was a misunderstanding because I really didn't provide any context. Now, the context was all on my Twitter from all of my other tweets, but that doesn't necessarily matter. I should have provided it, and I really, really, really am sorry to Trisha for the fact that, like, that is her opinion of me, that she, you know, blocked me after believing that I was insinuating, because she's saying that I don't like her, that I would say that her baby would be Satan. That is out of context. The context is the Queen Elizabeth memes. However, I fully understand how it looks, and I really, really, really apologize to Trisha for that. It was not the context that the tweet was made in. I would never say that about Malibu Barbie, like, in any other context. I would never say that about a baby in any other context. That was why it was such a thing, that it was Queen Elizabeth coming back as a baby. So I was like, oh my God, a spawn of Satan is incoming. Like, why would I have ever said that about Trisha's baby or whatever? Now, I do apologize to Trisha for that, and hearing her say that this is, you know, still something that sits on her, I never had the opportunity to explain it to her or apologize to her, and that's my fault for not reaching out beforehand. I just thought because my audience very clearly understood it for what it was, that everyone did. However, I completely understand that as a new mother, like, that is a shocking thing to read. It wasn't my intention, nor was it the joke. However, it was taken that way by Trisha, who is the mother of Malibu Barbie, and I really do apologize to her. And I reached out to Trisha as well, and I said, because obviously she has me blocked because of this, but I emailed her and said the following. I said, hold on, I emailed Trisha and said this. Apology from Adam McIntyre. Let me just read it to you. I said, "Hi Trisha, it's Adam McIntyre. While I'm aware I'm someone you probably do not want to hear from, and that is completely valid, after watching your new podcast, I still felt like I truly wanted to reach out to you. Firstly, I'm really sorry for the betrayal from Colleen. She really is nasty. And I'm also sorry for putting so much pressure on you to speak out. It came from a place of frustration, and whether you believe me or not, caring about you and not wanting you to feel the betrayal of Colleen like I did, which I've said time and time again. Secondly, I want to apologize for my tweet about your child. To explain context, but not excuse it, it was in the wake of the Queen Elizabeth memes, and my joke was directly referencing Queen Elizabeth coming back from the dead. And as an Irish person, where my people have deep-rooted issues with the monarchy, and specifically Queen Elizabeth, these were the kind of jokes and tweets I was making in reference to the Queen. And that was a reference of a spawn of Satan coming back being the Queen. However, this does not excuse the tweet, and I'm so sorry to you and Moses for any harm caused, and having to read that about your to-be-born or just-born baby. It wasn't my intention for it ever to come across as hating on your baby, but it was solely to be making fun of Queen Elizabeth. I shouldn't have tweeted it under the specific PopCrave tweet, and I truly apologize to your family. My intentions were not to hurt. However, I can see that is what happened. It was just a bad joke that fell flat in regards to my pure hatred for the Queen. And then I write, again, I want to make no excuses and directly apologize for this. And then I say, lastly, I just want to wish you well and thank you for adding insight about behind the scenes of Colleen's response to sending nudes to minors. It has been incredibly helpful and validating, and I cannot thank you enough. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, Adam McIntyre. So I emailed her that. So that is that full situation explained. And I really, really, really feel bad that is, you know, what, like, Trisha's last opinion of me is that it was like that I was bullying her child because of that tweet. But the spawn of Satan comment was in reference to the fact that PopCrave had just tweeted that Queen Elizabeth was about to die. And in context, it linked up. However, it's my fault for expecting, you know, it's not anyone else's responsibility to go searching with why your joke makes sense. And I really, really, really do apologize for Trisha for that. Not only falling flat, but coming across as I was bullying your child. I can promise you that was not my intention, and I can promise you that was not what I was doing. I just fucking hate Queen Elizabeth, and I was happy to see her gone. And whenever the memes online were that you were going to have Queen Elizabeth, like taking Malibu Barbie out of this, the fact that the memes were, and, you know, Trisha was posting these as well, that she was going to give birth to Queen Elizabeth, I tweeted saying that, oh my God, baby Satan is incoming, about Queen Elizabeth. However, it wasn't taken that way from Trisha. I apologize. That's my fault. And I want her to genuinely know that.
And so we have our own issues. Obviously, he doesn't like a lot of the stuff I do. Like, he just doesn't like me, and that's totally fine. And, like, obviously, I don't want to see negativity about me, especially during my pregnancy, so I just blocked him. That's it. But in this situation, I 100% have nothing but, like, sympathy and empathy and, like, support for Adam in this situation, because it's just very clear cut what everything was. She was the adult, he was the minor, with the underwear, with everything like that, like the editing out of the video, like that. I support him fully, you know, and, like, I do think people can make mistakes, and, like, you should hold people accountable and get canceled and, like, hopefully learn from them and, like, take accountability. So I support him 100%. But the reason I didn't get into it is because of this whatever, like, this, our past. I just, like, I don't know, you know, I don't know this person, whatever. But hearing all the stuff that did happen and seeing everything that did, when I didn't know about the underwear stuff, I didn't know about a lot of this stuff, I didn't know about any of this stuff. Okay, anyways, this is the whole thing. We can go to it because it's an article, but yeah. I get so, like, heated about this because, like, you know, you can not like Adam, think he's whatever, like, you know, he's done drama and stuff like that, but, like, this is what's so annoying is, like, when someone, like his job as a YouTuber, and so he makes YouTube videos about this, and it's like because he was a victim, it's like all of a sudden he's like this like, oh, now he's a whistleblower. It's like, no, like this is like he finally has some support. Like someone came out and said, hey, this is what she said to me to take you down. Like he's like, I feel validated, and I know that feeling. You know, I didn't know any of this in 2020. I didn't keep up with any of it. I knew nothing about it. And it just like wasn't my place to anything. I didn't know enough about the situation to say anything. I think in general, back to the Doja Cat thing, you know, when people like her friends should say something, it's like it's not.
Well, first of all, I just want to acknowledge that, and I want to say thank you for Trisha saying that just because what I do on YouTube doesn't mean that I'm a whistleblower. Like, I'm not a whistleblower if I, you know, make a video on Shane. I'm not a whistleblower if I make a video on Trisha. I'm not a whistleblower if I make a video on Colleen. I'm not a whistleblower if anything. And I really, really, really appreciate her saying that. And I really, really, really do.
Not anyone else's responsibility but hers. You know what I mean? And like, it's a sticky situation. You distance yourself, do whatever. If people don't distance themselves, then you can judge them for that. But it's a whole situation. And it's a very like legal situation too. There's like a minor involved. There's all this stuff like that. Like, that's why when my stuff got involved, I had to say something because I was like, I need to make a hard stance. Like, I don't support it. This is not okay. Like, I stand with victims. I'm a sex worker. This is not okay. This should never be, especially to minors. As someone who has sent nude images as a minor and like not sent, but shown them. Like when I was shown porn at an early age, it affected my whole life, my whole discourse, my whole sexuality, my whole everything. It's really, really.
And there's something to be said about everyone who has been like quote unquote dragged into this, wanting to clear their name and wanting to distance themselves from Colleen. Yet Colleen isn't even doing that for herself. Because Trisha's not guilty of anything in this specific situation, so she's clearing her name. Or, you know, different people involved in Colleen's camp. That's why Colleen's silent right now. You can't clear your name if you are guilty at heart. You cannot.
Really bad. So, and even any...
And I appreciate her making that video as well. And I mean, I meant it whenever I said in my email to her that I'm sorry for putting pressure on her to speak up. Like, it's, you know, it's almost like forcing someone to speak up. And I apologize for that. But it genuinely was coming from a place of like, I've been trying to let you know that Colleen has been bullying you for years, and then you decide to make a podcast with her after, you know, it was coming from a sheer place of frustration.
Any sort of, even if it's not like a sexual thing, like any sort of anything, you know, talking about a sex life with people, like anything like that is just, I think, crossing the line. Anyways, you can...
And I appreciate her saying that.
No, I know. Sorry, I didn't even mean to bring... I just thought it was like...
No, it's, yeah.
Especially because there is a part in the article where it alludes to you but doesn't mention you by name, which again is very weird that the only person they mention is Adam.
They
allude, so they said McIntyre,
they allude to other people, but they only mention me. It's fucking Adam McIntyre this, Adam McIntyre that.
And another former fan have alleged that Ballinger sent them nude photos from a sex worker, posting unverified.
Also, diminishing Trisha like to just a sex worker is so crazy. Also, when Trisha is a main player in this, and Trisha was doing a podcast with Colleen and then had to publicly distance herself, why aren't you including that in the article?
Verified if troubling text messages as proof.
Wait, so, unverified? What is that saying?
They're saying that the screenshot, like, Colleen did not verify that those are her screenshots, basically.
But it's literally like her friend, like, next to it. Like, who else is sending that? Like,
again, that's why the wording in this whole article is just so odd. And
how are you gonna not name my name? Call me a sex worker. Yeah. Like, not name my name, but your name, Adam McIntyre, who does not have the same sort of, like, platform. Numbers. Yeah, same platform, same anything. Who's also the minor at the time, the fan at the time, all this stuff like that, but you're not going to mention, like, anyone else's name.
Yeah, I'm, like, very mystified by how this whole piece came to be. Obviously,
I'm going to be honest. One of the reasons that I would tend to believe, in my opinion, that Colleen is heavily involved in this article is the fact that they do not mention Trisha's name at all. I feel that Colleen is terrified of Trisha. I mean, as she told me many years, and even more so now. I mean, Colleen's biggest fear of Trisha turning on her actually happened. That was why Colleen befriended her so heavily, because she was so scared of Trisha ever turning on her. And the fact that they don't mention Trisha's name, I think, is trying to get Trisha not to respond to it. And I believe that that was something, in my opinion, that Colleen's camp would push for Trisha not to be mentioned by name.
Obviously, there's stuff behind the scenes with, like, probably the author. I'm sure it's clicking well for them, so I think that's why they haven't taken it down, despite a lot of, like, drama, even, like, on the Vanity Fair tweet. And it's with the publication's Twitter, it's just, like, automatic. Twitter, like, automatically publishes whatever gets published to the website. So, there was a community note, or X, sorry. There was a community note on the X.
We're rebranding. We're helping rebrand.
That even, like, clarified, saying the inaccuracies in the article.
Yep.
So it's all very, very odd. The author even like blocked Adam on social media when Adam tried to reach out. So the whole thing is so confusing to me.
What?
Especially just because like I said, from a journalist background,
it's Vanity Fair. This isn't Business Insider, no offense, but like, you know what I mean?
I think that comment from Trisha was so funny because Business Insider were the ones that always wrote the article, like the articles on Trisha and stuff like that. And even when they would write articles about Trisha, they would always reach out to her. So it's funny that they, even Vanity Fair, which is bigger than Business Insider, didn't reach out. Just a note.
And like, even they reach out.
Yeah, like any publication I've ever worked at, I mean, it just, I don't see how that would pass anywhere else. So that's why I'm like so mystified by it, because it's so like blatantly one-sided. Like there's no real attempt to like, you know, show all sides of a very complex story with a lot of
yeah,
layers.
if they're framing it as like it's this complex thing, tearing, you know, it's torn, people are torn about it, then like show both.
Of course it's going to look like a complex story if you're only giving one side and also missing most of the information. People are going to be like, okay, well, the story doesn't make sense, so I couldn't be asked.
Besides why people are torn, like you're showing this one side, and almost like an attack on like Adam, which I just think, regardless of your opinions, and again, I didn't say what the tweet to like do any character assessment. I'm just saying my personal relationship with him. He doesn't like me. He's like whatever. You know what I mean? But again, with this situation, like how are you not on the side of this minor, like in this like power dynamic situation that like whatever, you know what? Who it was like proven that it was like manipulated and all stuff like that and like attacked. It's just it's so weird. I'm so like perplexed by all this. And when did this article come out?
It came out last week, so it's pretty recent. It's also weirdly like spaced out from
it's like dying down.
Yeah.
Which, you know, for people who are like really affected by this, you know, it's kind of like it does become like anything, you know, just like people just forget about things and move on, which, you know, maybe shouldn't be the case for everything. But also like this article coming out now when it's like has died down and there's maybe not so much support for Adam as there was, or like people just moved on from it. Yeah. Like
it's unlike anything I've ever seen. And
have one line of it be like, oh, and she's on the sex workers news. So what was the exact line?
In the ensuing weeks, Ballinger would be accused of everything from a Beyonce song in blackface to texting a sex worker's nudes to a minor. Ballinger's legal team has denied she performed in blackface, saying
but they don't deny the photos.
Wearing green face paint for a prior cover of a song from Wicked.
Well, it was confirmed she sent them. She sent me an apology on that Saturday after I made the video.
So Colleen Ballinger has confirmed that she was sending nudes to a minor over text. Trisha, if what you're saying is correct, we have Colleen Ballinger on record confirming that she did this. Now, Trisha, do we have Colleen Ballinger, like you just said, on record, admitting that she did this? Hold on. Also, why the fuck are you apologizing to Trisha and not apologizing to people that you were also sending bullying as well?
Of everything from a Beyonce song in blackface to texting a sex worker's nudes to a minor. Ballinger's legal team has denied she performed in blackface, saying she was wearing green face paint for a prior cover of a song from Wicked.
Listen up.
Well, it was confirmed she sent them. She sent me an apology on that Saturday after I made the video. I made the video July 3rd, and then she sent me an apology on like Saturday, July like 8th or 9th. And she's like, yeah, I was a coward. I lied to you. Like, I should have just told you the truth.
Yes. So what you're saying is we have Colleen Ballinger admitting that she did this before we've even had to move it any further? that she's admitted she's done this? And admitting that you were lying about not doing it? I don't think you're all realizing the implications of this. She has admitted she's done this, and she has admitted she lied about not doing it. I don't think you're realizing the implications of this. It may come that Trisha may be forced to show these messages from Colleen. She has admitted, from what I'm hearing, to a crime.
Truth when you asked me about the photos, like I was a coward and that was it. So she like apologized for it. So she definitely sent him to that guy. They're not denying that she sent them. They're denying the blackface, which was green face or whatever, in the show, but they're not denying the thing. So I have to say allegedly, I guess, for like legal reasons, because like we haven't seen them from Adam. Of course, I believe Adam because it has been verified that she sent him to Johnny from her herself. She said, I apologize, which I don't know if she should be apologizing to me, really. She should probably be apologizing to these people or, you know, the victims and stuff like that. But if it was verified that she sent them, it is verified that she sent them to him. Obviously, we can tell by the text and stuff like that. Then I believe Adam. Of course, it's like, yeah,
if she's apologizing to you, Trisha, she's hit rock bottom, and she's probably done more than to just me and Johnny too.
Allegedly, but sending nudes to a minor allegedly is like so beyond like disgusting. Like it's so disgusting that like I don't know how this is not bigger, because this isn't like something that's just like, okay, a couple jokes or whatever like that, which is still disgusting with kids, but like you did that, like that's so like imagine if it was a man talking about men and women, like imagine if that was a guy doing that to like a 14-year-old girl. Do you know what I mean? Like it's actually so insane. And again, as a sex worker, as someone who like has been through that exact experience, like it's so like disgusting, traumatizing on so many levels. Like I think Adam can make 1,000 videos about it and it would be justified. You know what I mean? Because it is. And then to have everyone now publicly shame you back in 2020 when it happened, but now Vanity Fair calling only you out and no one else out is actually like so insane. I haven't read the article. I should probably read the article, I guess. But there should be like legal grounds for him or something, because isn't that like, I don't know, like slander? I don't know what they're saying. I guess they're saying they're just recapping the story, but oh man, yeah, I think she should do a real statement, like a real statement and stuff, because I think, I don't know.
Yeah, regardless, this stuff isn't helping anyone's situation. This article, if that was the goal, is to help anyone, I don't think it did. I think it just raises more questions.
Helped absolutely no one.
Helped no
and
one.
whether they know Colleen or don't,
yeah,
trigger a lot of people. It's so true. It's why I like really don't like watch stuff, because it's like so upsetting, and I think that's crazy. I don't like it.
Me either.
And I'm sorry we ended on that note, y'all. That is...
Let's talk about this, because we have so much. We have so much to dive into. Do you realize how huge that is? Like, the queen of fucking lying. The queen of fucking lying has confirmed that she did this. The queen of lying has... Because that's it. That's it. There's nothing more. There's nothing more for her to say. There's too much out there. Andrew Quintana, are you aware that your client has said this? You know what? Again, I apologize to Trisha for the Malibu Barbie stuff. I really, really, really do. And I really, 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 I'm sorry for pushing her to talk about this, because Trisha is also a victim in this as well. It was just a level of frustration within me that, like, I didn't like seeing someone still befriend her whenever I knew that, like, that was not their real friend. And I thank Trisha, profusely for putting this information out there that has completely elevated this beyond words. Beyond words. Wrong, Andrew. Did I say Quintana? Andrew Brettler. Did I say Quintana? Too many Andrews. Too many Andrews. Andrew Brettler. Has your client told you this? All right. That was crazy. That was crazy. All right, everyone. I appreciate Trisha so much for that. I really, really, really do. This is like elevated things so much. Like so much. Beyond words.